Hey everybody, welcome to a new week. This is Mr. Pat from Kailo Boys and Girls Club in Hawaii, on the island of Oahu. Just want to reach out. From the beginning, we've been trying to, number one, we've been trying to send you guys stuff, make it possible for you to get some education, some entertainment, let you know we're thinking about you. Even though we haven't been able to meet in person, we're trying to give you something this way. Have a variety of things the club's offering. You can check them all out if you haven't already. Mr. Tom's Neighborhood, etc. This summertime we might do more organized stuff via Zoom type classes for math. I'll try to put a little pre-algebra and algebra course together. For now, this is just meant to be a little entertaining and fun with education thrown into. So I'm gonna do something brand new now. It's a song I never played before. I learned it about 5 minutes ago. It just started about 15 minutes before that. Gave it a little work. It's a song by Green Day called Time of Your Life. Kind of like this song. Never gave it a whole lot of thought of playing it, but I'm going to give it a shot to encourage you guys. If you're stuck at home like we have been, try stuff no matter what it is. Maybe something you like, maybe something you don't, maybe something you're good at, maybe something you're not, but you're learning either way, and it can be fun. So this is done in that spirit, kind of like when you grab the karaoke mic and just put your heart into it, even if you're not the best singer in the world. Okay? So here we go. Give it a shot and see what happens. Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question, but a lesson learned in time. It's unpredictable, in the end it's right. Hope you had the time of your life. Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question, but a lesson learned in time. It's unpredictable, in the end it's right. Hope you had the time of your life. All right. Thank you, Green Day. Thank you, folks, for being here, for paying attention and listening to this. We're going to continue on our theme for algebra. I'm going to spin again like I always do and give you guys some pointed math help. This is day 4. Let me get centered here on quadratic functions, and we're going to bring something new in today. So if you have not been following this, you might want to do exactly that. Look at a couple of lessons before this one so you can get up to speed. We're going to do similar things and different things at the same time here. Okay? We'll review stuff we did already because that's part of each problem, and we're going to do new stuff too. I'm going to clean up my thing here a little bit. Kind of a big gap there. Okay, I don't like that. I'm gonna redo this, sorry. I just noticed this. I didn't want to stop and play music again, so here you go. All right, so we're graphing quadratic functions. This is the form again where x squared, make sure you got that. There will be a middle term and there will be a c. You will still use negative b over 2a, and you will find the axis of symmetry, the vertex, the y-intercept, all that stuff. So we are going to do that first, and then we'll get into the new stuff. So there's something else, but I just want to go through this aspect of it again before I introduce that new thing, because this is hard. And actually what I should do is be a little more thorough here. X equals that. Okay, we're going to use that. So we're going to start with problem number 1. And for problem number 1, what I got here is, let's see, y equals x squared minus 2x minus 8. You guys right with that? Okay, so the first thing we do all the time is we list our a, b, and c. I'm actually going to do that down here. A equals the number in front of the x squared, so there's a 1 there. B equals, careful, it's the number multiplying times x, the linear, but it's negative 2. And c equals the constant, they call it. And again, be careful, it's negative 8. So we're going to use this to find our information. We're going to find 2/3 of it with this thing right here, using those numbers and that formula. Okay? So negative b, so I go x equals negative from the formula, b from my values here. So b is negative 2, that negative sign comes from the formula, over 2 times 1, because a is 1. So this is that with those numbers. So the opposite of a negative is positive, so that's 2 over 2, which equals 1. So x equals 1. And what we learned was that gave us some stuff. It gave us our axis of symmetry. I'm just going to abbreviate symmetry, and it is x equals 1. Okay, so what that means is we can now draw our axis of symmetry. So we find where the x coordinate is 1, and we draw a vertical dashed line Okay, so far so good. Okay, so next thing we do is we need our vertex. Now that x equals 1 does not find all of it, but it does, the vertex has 2 coordinates. It finds the x value. I don't know the y value yet. Okay, so I'm about to find it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this. X equals 1. I'm going to keep that. To remind myself, I'll write it right up here. That's this thing. Now, I'm not talking about the y-intercept. I'm talking about the y value of this vertex. I use this formula. I put a 1 wherever the x is, and that will give me y. So y equals 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 8. So far, so good. 1 times 1 is 1. Minus 2 minus 8. That's what y equals. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. Minus 8 is negative 9. So that, my friends, is the y-coordinate of the vertex. Okay, so now I can come over and I can find 1, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And here is my vertex point at 1, 9. Okay, so far so good. The thing that's left is my y-intercept. I'm going to go ahead and put that bugger right here. So the y-intercept, every single y-intercept, the x isn't going right or left at all. So the x value is 0. If you put a 0 in here for x, these terms disappear. We saw that 3 times, 4 times. So the answer is negative 8. So every single one of these, the c value, okay, the c value over here is your y-intercept. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's my y-intercept. So what we learned was, we learned that this axis of symmetry is like a mirror. So there's one number, 1 away here, there has to be 1 away there. So there has to be a match. So we got 3 points here. But that's not very much to draw a parabola with. That looks kind of funny, eh? So what we're going to do is we're going to find something else. We did not do this last time. Okay, we're going to solve this thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, you do need the equation. You don't need all this other stuff right now. We got it all plotted right there. So I'm going to erase this. You know how to do it. You can rewind and look if you need to. So we are going to do what's called finding the zeros. Okay. We're going to find the zeros of the equation. I'll show you what that means in a minute. We're going to do that by doing this. Something you did. We're going to factor this trinomial. So that's the one where you go like this. You had different methods taught to you depending on how your teacher was, who your teacher was. So y equals, and we're going to rewrite this in factored form. So what we learned was there's only one way to get x squared. And the way I'm going to show it is, I'm going to erase this x equals 1. I'm going to list factors of 8. That's the only way, 1 and 8, 2 and 4. So whatever goes here and here has to multiply to give me that. And it has to combine to give me that. Since it's negative 8, you're going to have 1 positive, 1 negative. Guaranteed. One of them's got to be positive, 1 negative. It's the only way it's going to work. So it's either 1 and 8 or 2 and 4, or 8 and 1 or 4 and 2. So you're looking for two factors that are that far apart. And clearly the ones we want are this. So let's say you did this. Okay, that's not quite going to be right, because if you multiply this, you get negative 2x. If you multiply this, you get positive 4x. That combines to plus 2x. You want minus 2x. So you keep those numbers, but you flip them. You make the 2 that one and the 4 the negative one. Now, this will give you negative 4x. This will give you positive 2x. That combines to negative 2, so you're home free. All right. So what you've done, you can go back and look in your notes and stuff and practice your factoring if you need to. That is a factored form of this, so that's great. So now what we're going to do is called find the zeros of the function. Now, I was helping people at the Boys and Girls Club, and I watched them. They handled this really well. So what you did was, if you were asked to solve this, you made y equals 0. So basically, you treated this like this. And what you learned was that meant by that principle of zero products, you have to set each of these things equal to 0 and solve them. So this is one of your answers. This is your other. These are the zeros of your function. You factored it, then you set it equal to 0. Okay, so that's why it's called the zeros of the function. It's the solutions. Now, here's what you put your brain around. When you did the y-intercept, you knew x was 0. So check this out. You made y 0. That means those are the x-intercepts. The zeros are of the function are the x-intercepts. So this stuff's real algebra. So you can make a dot on the x-axis at these two things. Positive 4, negative 2. There's negative 2, 1, 2, 3. There's positive 4. Awesome. So there's 2 more points on your graph. Now what you're doing is, now you can see if you did it right. See that axis of symmetry? From here to here is 1, 2, 3 units. From here to here is 1, 2, 3 units. So you did it right, so it's balanced. So now you can do a better graph. You come down here. And ladies and gentlemen, you have done an excellent job of graphing. So you use this tripped out formula to do all your axis, your vertex, the y-intercept, etc. You used your factoring skills to find your x-intercepts, which is the solution, the zeros of the function. You put it all together and that's what you got. Okay, can you handle that? All right. So that's all I'm going to do for this one. I'm going to stop right there. That's enough. You can go back and look. You can look for problems online and practice that. I'll do one more tomorrow. I'm going to review all this, practice again. And then I'm going to work with you on some weird square roots and stuff. Like always, I want to thank you. If you're paying attention to all this, I hope you're getting something out of it. I hope we're able to be in the same room together in the near future and help each other. And I can answer questions better, or if I run the summer program, it'll be live classes where you can join as a Zoom participant and ask questions then, and we'll get some detailed work. These are just like snippets, snapshots. I included that Green Day song to let you know, no fear, even if it's not the best song you ever played, if it felt like it was worthwhile and stuff, That's what you're doing. You're trying, you're not afraid, you're having fun. Okay? I want to tell everybody thank you. Aloha from the Boys and Girls Club, from myself. Stay safe, take care, don't rush back into things. Got to really, really be smart so we can keep this thing on a positive trend. Okay? Aloha, see you tomorrow. We'll practice all this and give you some more, use some more practice to dial into this quadratic function stuff. Okay, aloha.